gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
It's time for the Early Bird Special. Bringing you the best stories from the world of sports and sports entertainment. Now, here are your hosts, Sparky and Burdick.
Welcome back to the Early Bird Special. I'm Chris Burdick. Sparky not with us. Got some family stuff going on. KG is sitting in, though. We got plenty to talk about, as we've been talking about ad nauseum. The WWE Elimination Chamber was last night, and by God, did it shake up everything in ways that no one actually saw coming. We saw essentially what people are calling the heel turn of the century, or the heel turn of the generation. I'm going to pause on that one for a second. I have my thoughts when it comes to John Cena's.
John Cena!
Brother, I don't know how I feel about this. Should we just start with that? Because obviously that's what everybody's talking about. Let's just get it out of the way right now. John Cena's mega heel turn of the year, as people are calling it, on Cody Rhodes, beating the hell out of him with a Rolex to essentially show that he has sold his soul to Hollywood, as we all already really found out, and will be essentially taking the spot that Cody said, fuck you to The Rock, literally, last night, and will be his champion as we go forward into the WrestleMania 41 card, since he did win Elimination Chamber. Great prediction by you, by the way, Mr. Kimble, who was correct. I was completely wrong, as I'm and happy to be. I'd like to point out, I didn't want Logan Paul to win. I want that to be said. I just was throwing it out there. It could potentially be a route to a what we thought at the time would be a Cody heel turn
In another universe.
And let's also preface this that this happened before Rock gave the I want your soul entire situation, which we never actually got into. But what are your thoughts, my friend? I'll reserve mine for how I actually.
Okay, not only is this maybe the best Elimination Chamber in the last 5 to 7 years, possibly the best Paul Levesque pay-per-view in his era right now. So
that's
far,
arguable, but yeah, I could say that.
Especially
storyline wise,
the whole pay-per-view was lit, minus the Tiffy Niv match. We'll go to that in a minute, but this is the equivalent to Hulk Hogan being the third man. This is the heel turn that we all wanted, never thought we'd see. Right towards the end, we were like, could it be? And nah, until John Cena kicked Cody Rhodes square in the dick. Now, I'm going to keep it real. John Cena's fucking, like, heel face. I'm here for all that shit. Let me tell you something. We're about to get do-rag Cena. We're about to get you never seen a meaner Cena. All right? I don't know what the fuck Travis Scott was doing in there with the sage. And he smacked the shit out of Cody Rhodes. Smacked the dog shit out of him. Like, okay, like, I need my receipt on that if I'm Cody. Any motherfucking way. John Cena's heel turn is a la reminiscent of how in wrestling, in every federation, in every way, ship or form or company, like, there's always, like, the corporate guys, the guys that play ball, and in their favor for such, they get favoritism. Right. You have it in TNA with the system.
Right.
You've had it in the NWO, kind of renegade faction, but still have corporate members. You've had it in NWA, Four Horsemen, renegade flyboys that have JJ Dillon doing all the work for him, and he's an executive. You know what I mean? These things, the corporation. You know what I mean? In the Attitude Era. So The Rock bringing this back.
You could even go as far as AEW with the Young Bucks and all of that.
Exactly, but we're not talking about trash. We're talking about treasures right now.
Well, okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Hold your punches.
No, not today. Not today, my friend. Not today, good sir. Let me tell you something. Wait. Let me wrap this up. What The Rock just did with his vague dialect of your soul, he just gave us theatrics. He gave us cinema. This whole shit we've been laughing at, what the fuck is he talking about? Now, when you really have it sink in, Cena is willing to trade his soul for one more championship. Fuck them kids. Fuck the parents. You know, right now, not only did not just millions of hearts broke all across the world, I'm pretty sure some Make-A-Wish kids died today when they seen that shit, buddy. Yeah. Fuck yeah. I'm here for it. I'm here for this. 20-something years I've been waiting to see this shit. John Cena just checked one of my boxes. Like, I'm like, yo, bro, shit, this is crazy right now to me. Because if you think about it, when Cena first started, he was kind of a heel. He was a prick. To that ruthless aggression era and all that other stuff and whatnot. And he found himself. But even when he found himself, Dr. Thugonomics, John Cena was a heel. So, like, hey, please, I'm just asking the IWC, let this shit cook, let it breathe, let it sit for even 6 months. Because real shit, let this man go out the way he want to go out because he's sick of y'all. And I'm here for all this shit.
See, I don't think it's that. I think this is a beautiful opportunity to expand his character as a whole, but I think the IWC is more pissed off that, again, CM Punk, who is the fan favorite and has been the fan favorite since he came back to WWE, is being held away from his story, which is obviously a main event match at WrestleMania. But hear me out on this. Just because you won the Royal Rumble and the Elimination Chamber does not mean you actually get the main event slot. Let's be honest. The story still has to build and be the best story. There's no guarantee that Jey Uso is going to end night 1 or night 2 of WrestleMania as the champion or even in a match with Gunther. He could be the opener. So
that's what I'm saying. One of these championships is gonna have to open this bitch.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm pretty sure, because Triple H is great at listening to the audience and shit like that, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see Jey Uso be the first match in one of these nights of WrestleMania. Night 2, night 1, whatever, and get this yeet thing over with. It's so over. They have to get it over with now and let it run its course.
It'd be a great way to kick off the WrestleMania weekend. If
Jey bro, that would be awesome. Bro.
However, we won't get into that right now. That's not the point.
Yeah.
The entire idea of this turn, we again on this show have been talking about for months. We wanted Homelander Cody. Well, we wanted the evil Cody turn, which honestly I thought was coming. With me a couple weeks ago when we got this Rock promo of I Want Your Soul, what it reminded of to me was, if you grew up in the 90s, you remember Vince McMahon when he was that kind of character. And he extended essentially the exact same thing to The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin at one point to be his champion, quote unquote, in which they either took it or didn't at different parts in their career. Everybody in their heel turn run, because let's not forget, Stone Cold wasn't just a piece of shit to his boss a lot of the time. He actually did do what he was supposed to do as a champion to get to his championships, but he also had those moments of riding Vince McMahon to get up to the top as well, and that's essentially how The Rock got to the top too. Let's not forget that. But I'm not incredibly sold. Everybody keeps calling this the greatest heel turn of the generation. I don't think it's that big. I think it's a great heel turn. I think nobody was expecting it whatsoever. But realistically speaking, when you have to put it up against the Hulk Hogan's The Third Man, or let's throw out Seth Rollins with The Shield, or many other situations. Now, the entire the way it happened did remind me a lot of the Triple H thumbs down situation, where you really didn't see it coming, and then the champion ends up getting the shit rocked. And that's how you really see it begin.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't think that this is it. I don't think this is the only two that's going to be a part of this little group that The Rock has building. But realistically, we'll get to that in a second. John Cena as a heel, I'm very much here for as well. I want to see how this goes. Do you think he ends his career as a heel, though?
No.
You think
not
at
at
some
all.
point we're going to flip back to the face?
You got to remember, we have a John Cena pay-per-view coming up this year. There's a John Cena themed pay-per-view this year. Towards the end of this year.
I didn't think about that. But that's true.
Yeah, so you got to remember, like, we may see this now, but eventually he'll come back to the light. He'll come back to hustle, loyalty, respect. Right now, he about 17th championship and a check. Fuck y'all.
Does he actually win it though?
Hell yeah, he do. Hell yeah, he do. Look,
know,
I'm telling you right now, this is gonna set up Cody's arc of bloodlust. I can't believe I let my good-hearted nature and love for you fucking fickle fans cloud my vision and focus on this championship that was so important to me and all my friends that stabbed me in the back, stabbed me in the front. Fuck that. I'm taking what I want. When we get that Cody, when we see Cody come back with the all black hair, with the all dark hair, that's when we know we're there. Until then, we're going to get flashes of that Homelander Cody that, you know, and I love to say this without any punches, you know, Cody in AEW was fucking hilarious because his behind this, Cody is a very funny dude. When he was taking shots at WWE and the skits him and the Elite was doing, being the Elite, that shit was gold. That's what really solidified the following for AEW's foundation. Now, if we get that type of Cody busting people's balls and doing skits and shit and chopping motherfuckers down with jokes like that, real non-PG type of shit that he can't really do right now in this super mega babyface role. Once we get that, fuck, Cody will be over forever. Like he's already over his shit.
Point is that this storyline is really starting to solidify that the WWE wants Cody as what John was.
Yes,
essentially the mega face that never will have that run.
Yes,
he is always going to be a good guy. He's never going to be a bad guy, and he's always going to be the eternal hero that's fighting against essentially Roman and Seth and everybody else who's coming up against him.
The only other person that's had a face run like John Cena was Hulk Hogan.
Fair. That's
like real shit, man. And as Triple H mentioned in that press conference, hell, he feels like John Cena built half of what is now modern WWE.
There's not a lot of wrestlers
and didn't get not one lick of love or respect back for it from the company. And at that time, during that regime, and he was Vince's boy, so that lets you know. Like this run, how he said Cena can go do whatever the fuck he wants on his fucking retirement. He can call his shots because he's earned that shit.
And you know what? We should have saw it coming from that part alone when he came out and said, "I'm in Elimination Chamber."
I'm calling my shot. I felt like I've given everything to this company and I'm owed this. When do you ever hear a face say something like that unless it's before a heel turn?
But that, not even just that. Think of it in the sense of this. Think of it in the sense of a storyline. Granted, you could say that as a wrestler, but someone higher up has to actually okay that, which means The Rock had to have been the one to okay that.
And Triple H.
That's the kind of the point that they're making right now, though. This character that The Rock is higher than Triple H.
That is true.
He is above Triple H. Now, Triple H has come out last year at WrestleMania and said, hey, I'm the one that makes the final decision. But that's since been called out.
They kind of had a little clash of power. Right. And then, but see, look, everything counts. Everything counts. Just because it happened back then and we're not getting it fed to us now doesn't mean that they can't go back to that seed and say, look what this tree grew into.
I understand. And you're getting where I'm getting at here. But that's the point I'm trying to make here, is that this is going to be a match that's going to be even beyond that. I don't know exactly. This is not going to end at WrestleMania. There is no way in hell. However, what we could be seeing here is essentially the splitting of a civil war within the WWE. One side being led by The Rock, the other being led by Triple H, who's actually the authority. We get the ascension of the authority again, which would be essentially Cody, Randy, I guess you could put Braun Breaker, whomever you want in that area, against Roman, John Cena, Jacob Fatu, Solo, all of the Rock's people over on this side. And you get essentially what we could see at the next Survivor Series, which would be Team Rock against Team Triple H.
I'm just going to say you're a fucking genius for that, bro. I'm going to say that right. I'm going to say that right now. But you said it first. If it happens, it happened. You said it first right now. It's in the universe.
The king of long-term storytelling, Triple H, is not going to leave himself out of this.
Real shit.
He knows. With with the ascension that NXT is getting on here, if we're fucking fantasy booking, we could see fucking a team Shawn Michaels.
Damn.
We could see that as well. We could see Ava saying, "Hey, Dad, what about me? I'm running shit down here, and I'm doing a damn good job out of it." Well, contextually
Yeah,
speaking,
storyline wise. Yeah.
storyline wise.
Yeah.
With NXT, it is a crazy fucking mess right now,
Yeah.
on purpose. But
Uh-huh.
it is incredible to watch every week, and we love it. But that's
Uh-huh.
kind of the points I'm making here. Now, that is a long stretch. I'm not going to
Let
say
me ask you a question.
Team Shawn Michaels, but that could happen.
Let me ask you a question real quick. Can you remember a time ever in wrestling where the storyline matches were more important than the titles?
Not to this extent. I think there have been rivalries that have exceeded that, like your Rock and Stone Colds, maybe your Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart's, all that type of stuff. So in that context, I would say yes, the Montreal Screwjob obviously being a good example. But with this much consistency, no. It has been absolutely, but that's kind of what they've been trying to lean on, though. I mean, you hear Michael Cole say it on Logan Paul's podcast a couple weeks ago. They have moved on from sports entertainment. They're not that anymore. They're just entertainment. They're here to entertain us. And that's why you get more story-based stuff in the WWE rather than wrestling-based stuff that you see in your AEWs, TNAs, and all that type of stuff. And now with the merger, or I shouldn't say merger, the partnership of TNA and WWE, you're going to see that more with TNA as well, probably going to more story-based entertainment than sports entertainment. And I think that's the point, though. That's what they want you to see, is that this is no longer driven on we have to beat the crap out of each other and split each other open for people to care and us be essentially gladiators, to let's just entertain them with the best story writing and stories that we can talk about. Because let's be honest, for all of the thousands and thousands of matches you saw in ECW, which is still legendary to this day and are all brutal in themselves.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, how many storylines do you remember coming out of ECW? That's not Paul Heyman's fault. He still got a great product because he knew what the people wanted.
I remember the matches and feuds, but never the storylines that made them important.
Exactly. Now it is all shifted. The viewer has shifted to wanting more of, we want to be invested in the characters, not just the match itself.
Yeah.
ECW thrived because at the time the people wanted nothing but the matches. I just think the world has evolved into this more, you need the story to be relevant kind of a thing, which is
most definitely.
Not to mention that they are obviously led by the best of the best when it comes to long-term storytelling. And it's not just Paul Levesque. I mean, you got to give everybody back there. Road Dogg is fantastic and is part of it as well. The entire writing and producing staff, including Bobby Roode, and all those guys have been fantastic. And this is all led by those people. So I think that we're just headed towards another incredible story, because you have to one up last year.
Speaking of incredible stories, what kicked off the pay-per-view last night in Elimination Chamber with the women's Elimination Chamber match, the return of Jade Cargill kicking the shit out of Naomi and wreaking havoc in the Elimination Chamber before the match even started. What are your thoughts on this, Chris?
Brother, we've talked about this in the past, and I know I brought this up because I've said it, and I know I'm not the only one who has said it, but the only one that made sense was Naomi or Bianca. I can't remember what episode it was. You got to go back and listen to when this first happened a couple months ago. But I am very, very happy with the way it happened. And congratulations to Bianca Belair for winning the match as a whole. And it was
most definitely.
And I also have to point out here, because there are some subtleties within these matches that we have to put into. Roxanne Perez holding her own and eliminating Bayley is huge for her career going forward. Alexa Bliss looking as great as she does and continuing to look like a championship contender is also going to be a huge point. And I think you will see a combination of her with the Wyatt Six at some point once Bo actually is cleared. And realistically, they continue to push Liv Morgan. And it happens every single time, dude. Every Royal Rumble, everything she's in, every Elimination Chamber, Liv is usually first or second, and I don't think that's on. I don't think that's on accident. I think that's on purpose. I
Yeah.
think they genuinely see the star power that Liv has, and the continual growth of her is just going to be incredible. Now we're obviously going to see on Monday who comes out the champion, either Rhea or Io Sky. But as I said to you last night, we were up late last night. I don't know what time you fell asleep, but I fell asleep around 2 o'clock trying to wrap my head around this. But I don't think this match is going to be a one-on-one period. I think we're getting a four-way. I think at some point during Monday's match, I think you're going to have Bianca on the sideline watching, as a contender should. I think Jade comes back on Monday and does the exact same thing to Bianca that she did to Naomi. And that's how you get some sort of, interference in the match, ruining it for Io. And you get a setup of Rhea, Io, Bianca, and Jade Cargill in a fatal four-way match for the world heavyweight or for the women's world championship. And I think that is probably the best women's match you could make for WrestleMania, in my personal opinion.
That's a little much, but it's also not too much. It can very possibly happen. More so than I would think Jade Cargill trying to challenge Bianca for her number one contendership spot, which could just serve as, we've got 40 something days till WrestleMania.
Something like that. And after the brutal beatdown that Jade gave Naomi last night, she's not going
to. And they're about to go on a tour of the UK. So
right.
Those house matches and dark matches that they work over there could really just set up either Jade and Naomi for, WrestleMania, or, Jade and Bianca for further down the line. Moving on towards the second match, I believe we had was the Tiffany Stratton, Trish Stratus
tag team match, against Nia and Candice. I don't know about you, my friend, but
this could have been an intercontinental match. This could have been an anybody else match. This could have been a segment. I'm gonna keep it real, bro. I was not feeling none of that shit. It exposed Tiffany Stratton. It showed like she's young and fresh, and the fans wanted her to be champion, but she's not going to be champ for long. This is let's see how you fight for the title. Let's see how you chase the title after this. This is what I'm getting the sense of. Okay, fans want to fast track the bitch. Cool. We put the money on the fucking bank shit to her. Cool. We listening to the fans. Triple H is good at that shit, but he's also very observant. He's like, this is kind of overexposing Tiffany a little bit.
In a way.
So
well, this just kind of felt lost to me. I don't feel like this match needed to be on the card. I see why it was on the card. Obviously, you want to mainstay one of your big female champions. And obviously, you have Trish Stratus, who is the hometown hero. But I have to agree with you. I know there's complications right now with the U.S. Championship as Shinsuke's family is dealing with a loss. But
yeah. Hell, they could have had a women's U.S. title match, man, with Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
Shit, she taking pins left and right. Like, god dang, this shit is fucked up right now.
But that's kind of my point right there too, is that these matches with the mid-card titles right now are kind of being lost on the shows, and I think that's part of it.
On the PLEs. It's like the mid-cards are really used a lot throughout the weekly shows,
right?
But we need to have them culminated at the PLEs.
Because you could have had, and I'm just throwing this out there, you could have had Penta and Breaker if you wanted to build that storyline a while ago.
What you drinking today? What you drinking today? The hell?
You could have had anything of that nature. Again, I know the Shinsuke situation obviously leaves out Shinsuke and LA Knight, but I do feel like this match just kind of got lost on the card. I don't think it necessarily was up to par as the rest of them, and it could have been better. It honestly could.
Like, following the women's Elimination Chamber is hard enough anyway, no matter what match you have placed after the showcase they put on. The women did a fucking banger ass job.
My bad. You know what? And I should have just pointed this out in the beginning. If we were going to fucking do a tag team match, why not do the hottest tag team division in all of WWE, and that's SmackDown right now, and give the Profits their fucking chance at the tag titles finally? You've had this entire thing boil over. You could have had a 4-way against pretty deadly DIY, the Los Garza and the
Let him cook. Let him
and
cook.
the Profits, or even the Motor City Machine Guns, whoever you wanted in that fourth spot, does not matter. And finally, we could have seen the Street Profits get the damn titles that have been eluding them forever, because we need them to have those titles. DIY with the titles has grown stale. It is not as good as we thought.
Motor City Machine Guns have lost their little sparkle.
They have, but that's only because they haven't been shown on television. We haven't seen them since they lost the titles to DIY. So it's like, what are you doing? And honestly, and I won't even get over to the Raw side of all of this, because the Viking Raiders have literally just been sitting on their ass and maybe beating up the Creeds every so often. So they're messing up on that side.
Creeds and Judgment Day.
If we're going to throw criticisms out there. However, realistically speaking, at this point right now, I think we're both just in agreement that match, although solid, was not needed on a PLE lineup.
That was a Friday Night SmackDown match.
It should have been. It should have been the Friday Night SmackDown match and tagged out with something else, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
The one after that, obviously, we got Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens with their unsafe match, which led to the return of Randy Orton. The brutality of this match was not lost on me, and obviously the callbacks to their old days of the Kevin Steens. I can never remember El Generico of Sami.
Yeah.
And it really did show that these guys still got that brutality in them if they needed to go that far. There are moments of this. I loved the barbed wire chair.
That was crazy. That was crazy, man.
The pain showed by Kevin Owens, the my eyes situation was pretty crazy. You actually kind of felt like he was brutally hurt. And if you've noticed this in the last couple of matches, that's kind of what Kevin's been going for. Is he's getting the shit kicked out of him by all of his best friends, starting with Cody and Randy, all the way down to Sami, and what we now assume will be building up to a WrestleMania 41 match against Randy Orton, again as a rematch where Randy could potentially bring back the punt, as it looked like he was lining up for, but I don't know. What are your thoughts?
And I think they did a good job of making Kevin Owens, like, he is a perfect heel, but he's taken too many losses, and he needed that win last night. Yeah. And you were able to squeeze in Randy Orton coming back, getting his shit in, but still just enough to make Kevin Owens still look strong. He didn't completely take him out, because if he would have landed that punt kick, that whole victory would have meant nothing. The emotion translated in the match between these two guys who have been fighting all over the world for 20 years was great. The end, when I'm just going to cut straight to it, because there were so many brutal spots in the match. The apron power bomb, the freaking
not ending with the buckle bomb though was interesting. You thought that it was going to go that route and continue he's going for their career type of
that thing with the taking the pads off the floor and then him just freezing up once Randy Orton's music hit. And then after being kind of disassociated, like, I can't believe I just did that to my best friend, but still in a state of manic rage, Kevin Owens almost looked like he was crying, like he knew he was caught. Like, shit, I'm fucked.
Yeah, like he was a little kid that just
he was like, fuck it. Fuck. I was just like, now see, this is what I grew up on watching wrestling, and when guys would lose their fucking shit in the ring. It's so convincing. Because even for a split second as an adult sitting back and you know the storyline, you're just caught up in that moment just for a split second. And you're like, oh, you in trouble. And hey, nostalgia is a hell of a drug, bro.
Oh, it is.
I was high on nostalgia all night, bro.
Especially for the millennials, my guy. Nostalgia.
Bro, it was just like, holy shit. To see Randy Orton come back after eating fucking Whataburgers and drinking tequila for fucking 2 months. Motherfucker came back like in a bit. Looked like he was on a Captain America serum. Came back and was like, yeah. You know, like, hey, boy, I need to talk to you.
And hear me out on this, because I think that this storyline could be spreading into something.
He's WrestleMania ready. Randy's ready.
WrestleMania ready, and he teased at it a little bit with the wanting to point at the sign, but he's like, maybe not.
Yeah.
But I'm also sitting here thinking that, do we get a storyline here where Randy Orton now has to come to a clash within himself of, am I going back to my old ways and being a heel with the punting, or do I do this the right way and show Kevin this isn't this is what we need to do?
I think I think Randy's beyond heel or face because we're gonna cheer him regardless.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
the punt is like we haven't seen that in years only because Randy hasn't been hurt like this. Okay. Now the storyline setup is like, hey, you got betrayed. This man tried to take you out. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Randy Orton took out a lot of people with that goddamn punt, bro. So he's like, oh, you want to take me out, motherfucker? Let me show you how we do this shit, right? And when he was lining that bitch up,
No, and
I love how they had everybody swarm Randy right when he was swelling up for that fucking
and they're building up
it
to
looks
that.
so great.
That's
so
why
intense.
I feel like we may get that. I feel like we may get the should I do it this way or not kind of a storyline leading to most likely a punt at some point.
Yeah.
But you also have to take into account, let's not forget, we're talking long-term storytelling. Let's not forget the outlier of all of this. And that's the Karrion Kross situation. Because Karrion has been very much trying to seed his way into the Sami Zayn debacles. With Sami now dealing with God only knows what, I can't imagine. You would assume that maybe Karrion sneaks in here and tries to get into Randy's ear now.
Ooh.
And say, hey, to end this feud, you may need to become the Viper again. Maybe this good guy Randy does get the job done. And then we finally get that going down. Because let's not forget, Karrion Kross has been in the background of a lot of these different storylines, a lot of these different heel turns. I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow get Karrion and John Cena into a little conversation at some point down the line. But Karrion Kross is very much solidifying himself as the devil of the WWE. And I could definitely see him sliding in as kind of the devil on Randy's shoulder to find out if Randy is really going to take this one last heel turn to not only finish Kevin Owens and get back at him, but maybe get him back into the World Heavyweight Championship look. Because let's not forget that Randy's chasing that record too, not just John Cena. And Randy's only got a couple years left.
Well, my biggest hope for Karrion Kross's career, because that's my boy, that's my dog.
Back in the conversation.
Like, bro, Karrion Kross is him. And a lot of people don't know it, man. They know it, but they don't know it, or they don't want to say it. Karrion Kross is really that dude. My hope and belief that with all these seeds that have been planted with Karrion Kross in all these major storylines over the years, knowing that Triple H is the master of this shit. Mm-hmm. Hopefully this culminates into some type of, like you say, devil or devil's advocate figure in the WWE that takes more of an eerie vibe, but not supernatural, just more cult leader-ish and very, you know, how CM Punk was back in the day, how Raven was, just the charisma just bleeds off of him. That type of guy.
Honestly, dude, I've been thinking about this real hard, but if the WWE wanted to continue the Wyatt Six storyline but didn't want to keep Bo, I think Karrion would be the perfect sub. And I don't mean to make that sound like I don't like Bo Dallas, because I love Bo Dallas and I love the Uncle Howdy situation.
We could do without Uncle Howdy, because I'm going to keep it real. Bo Dallas is such a great fucking performer right now. He don't need that fucking mask. No. He could take everything that they're doing right now, and instead of doing all this eerie back from the dead shit, make it more just goth, toned down, give it a little dark kind of apocalyptic vibe. You know what I'm saying? And bring it more to the forefront of a reality with Bray's vision. And somewhere in between that medium, we'll find the right way to inject the audience with Wyatt Six shit that they will love and eat up. Because honestly, aside from the shit that we nitpick about in WWE, everything is presented properly. It's for the performers to get it over. You know, example, when shit is put together properly and there's production meetings and there's a go over or a float through of the match between the talents and there's communication. See, people think communication is key. No, like understanding, cognitive understanding. We can communicate all day, but if I don't understand If I don't have then I'm fucked, right? Example, Thunder Rosa last week. The mismatch between the fucking producers not informing the talent on how the spot was supposed to go caused a very ugly look that is being picked apart. That woman should have not had to apologize for her producer's mistake. On the man,
they're calling for her career, man. I feel
bro. Like I'm gonna keep it real, man. They just fucking with Thunder Rosa just because, and I don't understand who she pissed off over there.
Do you think it's because she's part of Busted Open and she's so close to Billy and all the WWE
I
guys?
think so. I think so, bro. And we've seen it time and time after again how AEW nitpicks on people on some fucking like choose a side shit. And it's like,
Tony Khan is really starting to look like he might be a petty son of a bitch. Like, he really does. Look at the Ricky Saint situation. Like,
spoiled man child. Why isn't Ray Phoenix released? All these releases are happening and you still ain't released Ray Phoenix, bro. You keeping people around that don't want to be there, that obviously you didn't fucked over in so many ways. This is what happens when you let some dudes from wherever that ain't never done no business shit. Great wrestlers. I love the Young Bucks, man, but they are overrated as fuck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, bro, like, okay, y'all was hot in Japan. What the fuck did y'all do with that shit?
Honestly,
no motherfuckers look like garage dads.
Their match at this last oh god, what's it called? The Wrestle Mania in Japan thing that I did every year. I cannot remember the name at the moment. I'm sorry, I'm very tired.
Wrestle Kingdom.
Yes, thank you. Their match at Wrestle Kingdom this last year was actually pretty good. I will give it to them. But at the same time, Kenny Omega, it's like, I love you, but where is the substance of your character?
I'm a wrestler
coming out. Yeah, like I that is my one thing about AEW, and I know it's wasn't meant to be this type of video, but it's turning this way because I do agree with you. We're seeing a lot of this petty nature from different companies, and it doesn't need to be that way. But at this point right now, like, the substance in AEW is just lacking, and that's why I feel so bad for Thunder, because that entire run-in with her in the chair and nothing happening and everybody just being super confused because she looked like she couldn't even swing the chair.
So I guess she was supposed to just run in there and like, hey, back up. And whatever this new Amazon chick they got in there was just like, yeah, bitch, swing it. Now she's like, hey, for real? Or are you just saying that? Like, production meeting would have cleared all that shit up. Communication with your fucking talent would have cleared all that shit up. Instructions before they ran out through the curtain would have cleared all that shit up.
And that's what I keep understanding is that Tony does not do production meetings, which is baffling to me. But it is what it is. Again, this isn't going to be a roast video. Let's get to the last match of the night, which obviously was the men's Elimination Chamber. Very interesting in many spots. Obviously, the last three wasn't being Seth, CM Punk, and John Cena made a lot of sense. CM Punk getting screwed over by Seth Rollins. Hey, the stomp was beautiful.
Drake in the crowd
was funny as fuck.
Watching Logan Paul, right? OVO on the pod door.
On the other side. Oh God, Logan again, and this feeds back to the SmackDown right before this too on Friday. Let's not forget Logan came out to John Cena's music and probably the greatest troll job of Toronto of the year. Which is why, again, I'm going to throw this out there as a million times. If this guy is long-term, if he is full-time long-term as he claims he wants to be, he's getting one of these main belts very soon.
Fuck yeah.
He will end up with either the World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Championship very soon. He will have it for a long time.
He'll be all right.
There has not been a guy who has taken to this industry as quickly as Logan Paul, which is the wildest part about it.
The crazy shit is when you do see somebody like Logan Paul or have the athletic ability and natural gravitas to the sport, you get a Kurt Angle. You get a Chad Gable.
Yeah, I like
you
that.
You get a Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I like that.
You get like it doesn't matter how they're built, what they look like, as long as they have a certain type of athleticism, raw, natural charisma, whether it's on the mic or not. But the main thing is presence in that ring. They have a presence to command awe. Like, that type of shit you be like, this motherfucker right here is a little bit special, you
Mhm.
know? So when you can bleed out other aspects of what I just mentioned, you get influence from Shawn Michaels, you get people
Mhm.
coaching you down there, getting advice from from Triple H, um a lot of good producers. Well, Shane Helmsley,
Mhm.
who produces a lot of fucking matches down there with Sean on the main roster and NXT. Um, God, it's so much knowledge to pull from.
Right.
And then one of the original blonde badasses of wrestling, P.S. Michael Hayes, bro, the Freebirds practically invented like walkout music, like theme
Oh
music.
yeah,
They were
they
one of
mentioned that a lot.
top tier levels of innovative showmanship. So you want to keep minds like that around that can pick, refine, and smooth out the rough edges of this current generation that have that same flair of greatness. Woo! Yeah, pun intended. You know what I'm saying? So I think Logan Paul definitely. I agree with you, man. And right now, people hate him. Of course, people hate
Oh
him
yeah, no,
until
he's the most.
they give him a storyline against someone or with someone who is hated just as much or more.
I don't think you'll ever reach that point. I think Logan is going the route of the Dominic Mysterio of the mega heel.
Natural heel, natural mega heel.
Yeah, and he'll never not be much like a Cody Rhodes will never not be a face. I don't think Logan. You'll never see a Logan Paul that's not a heel. It's just
Yeah, you
it
like
doesn't.
the much like the Miz. You might
Yeah.
be able to float as a face for a while, but eventually you come right on back to the dark side,
Well,
baby.
and it's not even just that though. And most wrestlers will say this too. It's the organicness of the character. If the viewer looks at you and knows that you're faking it, they're not going to buy it. And you can't
Yeah,
have Logan Paul not be Logan Paul. You know what I mean? Like you already have a preconceived notion of who Logan Paul is because of his online persona, and that's not going to change. Which means if you like him, you like him. If you don't, you don't. And most people don't. That's why you're always going to get the you still suck" chance no matter what,
yeah.
because the fan base is always going to say, well, you could be good at this but you still suck, like you're still an asshole. So realistically, I don't think you'll ever see Logan Paul as a face. But the match itself did a very good job in my opinion of doing a few different things that are subtle in terms of storytelling that I'm going to say real quick. Oh god, what do we got here? John Cena in it. You got to talk, otherwise they're not going to be able to see this stuff.
All right, this might be flipped. It's like murder documentaries be like he was a good man until he wasn't.
You know that is fucking fire. That is great.
Um
You know that's
ah
fair now.
this
That's
is this is
very.
this is so good,
I
man.
understand, brother. Again, and we said our piece on this, and I still don't think it's as big of a heel turn as people say it is. It's probably one of the top 10. I'll give it that, but I think there are worse ones. This one definitely was probably the most unprecedented and not seen coming, though. I'll give him that. But no, the things that I wanted to highlight real quick from this match, though, that you probably didn't notice because of how hyped up the John Cena thing was. One, the WWE is continuing to humble Drew McIntyre, even though he is, or at least the character of Drew McIntyre. Drew has continuously come out claiming he's going to embarrass people. He's going to whoop these people's ass because they get favored treatment just to have it blow up in his face every single time. And I don't think that's on accident. I think that's the entire base of what the storyline's going towards is the continued humbling of the Scottish warrior until we finally get him back as a face. And for God's sake, give me back the sword because I missed the claymore. And two, what people also didn't real or what you may not have realized during all of this, John Cena was already getting booed for winning the Elimination Chamber and knocking out CM Punk because everybody
Oh,
was
I noticed that.
Punk. However, they weren't just booing John; they were booing Seth. So we have now seen officially the Seth Rollins heel turn as well be completed because Seth is going to come out on Monday and get booed to hell for screwing over everybody's boy again.
Yeah. Yes,
And
he
he's
is.
going to go the same route as Drew McIntyre. And this whole, you're going to boo me. This guy is the a-hole. This guy is this guy is that. And we're essentially going to.
And he's like, I thought I was doing the right thing. You gonna see Seth have a meltdown.
No, he's not going to care. He's not going to give a shit at all, because his entire thought is, you guys can boo me all you want. My only goal was to make sure that man right there did not get what he wanted.
And hey,
successful.
Now
who's the exact same thing?
Who's gonna check Seth Rollins for this fuckery though? Somebody's got to check him, bro. We can't get another CM Punk Seth Rollins feud. We can get another match, but why? You know what I mean? Like, honestly, we gotta have somebody come in and really like whoop Seth's ass, bro.
No, and I think you're right. I think maybe that is the favor that gets called in. I think that'd be a waste of a favor, to be honest with you, to have Roman come in and essentially help Punk beat the crap out of Seth and make up for what's happened for everything. I mean, and everybody's kind of wondering where Roman's going to lie at WrestleMania.
I still think we're going to get a Seth, Drew, Kevin Owens faction at some point.
I think that's more liable now, especially with the way everything is going, especially with my thoughts on the whole separation and civil war of the WWE as a whole. Because I could definitely see Triple H going to Seth and saying, I need the authority again. And Seth saying, oh, I got the perfect guys for this. And he pulls in your Kevins and your Randys and your Drews and your Jey Usos and all that type of
automatic faces by default. And tweeners. Tweeners by default. Your villains, your heels go automatically to Tweenerville, and your faces are made over.
And you could have that underlining storyline of who's going to betray who and all that type of stuff. Storylines. Again, this is all being built towards a long-term thing. Don't forget, John is here until the end of the year. He's not done after WrestleMania. So don't think it's not a impossibility that Kimble, my friend, you are correct, and that John wins at WrestleMania 41 in Vegas due to some fuckery from The Rock. And we finally get the Cody Rhodes, I need help to slay this monster once and for all. And we end this at the end of 2025 at whatever PLE is in December. Because that is essentially what it's going to lead to. Or the next big one, which could be SummerSlam. So
I was waiting for that. I was like, yep, SummerSlam, baby. Give it to him.
I'm just saying.
All
this stuff is up in the air at this point. It was a beautiful PLE, as Kimble said. I would agree that it's probably one of the best of the Paul Levesque era so far. I think it's only scratching the surface, though. I don't think that this is going to be seen as the best of the best once this era is over. I think this is just the start of it all. But, my friend, do you have any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Everything was fucking awesome. Minus one match, but hey, I'm not holding that against them. They had to work. It wasn't a bad match. I'm just saying, if we were going to do something else, could have been there. You know, but
if we were going to do a tag match, at least make it a championship match. Let's get the fucking profits there, dude.
Come on, you know, I agree with you on that. Other than that, I give that motherfucker an 8.9, 9.1 out of 10. Fucking strong A. If it was a grade, a 96.7%, man. That shit was one of the best PLEs I've seen in a long fucking time, just overall.
I think John Cena summed it up perfectly in that press conference.
And in closing, I just want to send my condolences out for all the Make-A-Wish kids that didn't make it today. After all the shit that they seen.
Oh, I'm sorry if you were hoping to meet John.
Oh, my God.
You made me notice.
Oh, my God. Hey, just a quick insight. When I say I was flipping out, it's an understatement. My dogs was looking at me like, I don't know what's wrong with him.
I flipped out more at the Jade Cargill shit than I did at the John Cena.
Oh, you tripping.
I'm not going to lie. I tripped. When I saw Jade come out and I said, oh, who's she going to slag on? Is it going to be Liv or Naomi? And it ended up being Naomi. And I'm telling you, my brother, I was in the car.
Okay, look, I can see why you were excited about that. You were excited about that.
I'm excited for where that story is headed. Because we now potentially have a 2-on-2.
But wait. John Cena turning heel. 20 years in the making.
Yeah.
All in one night. From this to kicking Cody Rhodes in the dick.
But see,
wait. To when Travis Scott bitch slapped Cody Rhodes and they held him down to get whipped and beat like a dog in the street. Do-rag Cena. Do-rag Cena. Do-rag Cena. Do-rag Cena. Boy, hey, we taking them back to the block in Boston, son.
I'm gonna tell you right now,
what's happening right now.
They may retire the horns too. They may have to retire the horns.
Do we see though? Honestly, do we see John Cena in a suit, this flash and dash? Do we see some type of? We're about to see an evolution of John Cena that I don't think people were prepared, expected, nonetheless, have any idea how to wrap their heads around what they're going to see the next time they see him, because he's flown back to the movie set now to finish filming, and we're not going to see John Cena for another month. So this is just going to fucking fester until we get some type of conclusion.
But see, here's my thoughts, is that you're going to get, because he mentioned this when they asked him about the feud against The Rock, because they were planning a massive heel turn for him back then, but it just didn't go through. They actually even had a song that he had made that was a whole heel song. So we may actually get that song. This is new song coming out. But I think you get a full change up. I don't know if you get a full suited John Cena, but I think you get maybe like a combat suited John Cena, if that kind of makes sense. Like instead of cargo shorts, maybe we get some military grade pants, like Peacemaker kind of thing, with some boots or something like that. Like
I could see him wearing basically Roman Reigns' attire.
Essentially, something like the Shield or something of that nature. Like, you know what I mean? Like something more military based. I don't see him in a suit. That might be going a little too far.
No, I'm saying when he comes out. Next time I don't know about how his wrestling gear is going to look.
Right. But at the same time, my question as well is, if you are The Rock's champion, do you get to talk? Because that's a big thing that John Cena does.
He's got the biggest talker in the game.
Exactly.
Look, this is almost unfair. This is like,
do you muzzle the dog, or do we get a Peacemaker-esque John Cena?
No, this is like Magneto and Apocalypse on the same team. This is fucked up. This is OP, because imagine both of them attacking you in a promo.
This is Michael.
This is something only that CM Punk can handle.
On the same team, brother.
Mike and LeBron on the same squad.
This isn't. That's what I'm saying. And I don't think this squad is close to being done. And actually, something else I heard on Busted Open last night, Dave LaGreca brought up that I thought was pretty interesting. Maybe we get Travis Scott helping out John Cena make a new song. Why is Travis Scott in the middle of all of this? Like, maybe he comes in.
I did not even think of that, bro. Hey, whatever was in your coffee this morning, bro.
I'm telling you. Well, again, that one's not me. That one's Dave LaGreca. I give all that to Busted Open.
Still, that was a good tidbit of information. My mind is blown.
That is where we're at the moment. Check out Raw on Monday to see further events. Obviously, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky will be concluding that night. Hopefully, my prediction will come true. We'll maybe get a build up to a fatal 4-way here coming soon. We will catch you guys in the next video. Check out tomorrow. We'll be having a new movie review as me and Sparky will sit down and talk about The Monkey, the new horror movie that's been out. It's been actually pretty interesting. I enjoyed it, but I know Sparky has a different take on it. And then Tuesday, I believe we will also be sitting down with somebody from The Well as well. So you'll be getting plenty of videos here coming up this week, as well as our next sports and wrestling video coming up towards the end of the week. But my friend KG, thank you once again for your time, as always. You got anything last to say before we sign off?
Wash your hands. Don't stay up too late. Don't forget to masturbate.
Jesus Christ. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.
Peace.